Canada's Conservative leader, Pierre Poilievre, released his new housing plan this week to fast-track the construction of new affordable homes across the country. This comes as Canadians aren't being able, well, they haven't been able to afford homes these days from the high interest rates as well as other necessities that are also up with inflation as well. Sound familiar? Well, it's very similar up in Canada. Let's discuss with the host of the Charbonne Report, Michael Charbonne. Michael, Canadians, they seem to be like Americans these days with these high mortgage rates. They've got credit card bills, all because of the rising inflation. In Canada, there's some new data there that says the Canadian mortgage rate rose 5% from $457,000 to now $457 to $680, not thousands, per month. What are Canadians saying about the Conservative leader's new plan? Do they agree with it?
Well, the news poll that just came out, John, says that 43% of Canadians want to change, and they're leaning towards Conservatives. You've got to understand here in Canada, we have a 5% mortgage rate. The bank puts what's called a stress test. So they evaluate your combined income or your single income based on a 7% interest rate before they'll even consider you for a mortgage. But people who have existing mortgages now have seen their rates gone up by 500, 800, 1,000, some even doubled. It's really put pressure on not only small families, but just their economy. I mean, people are upset. And when people are upset, particularly with interest rates, you're having a populace that wants a change. I mean, you've got mortgage brokers both in the United States and in Canada that are saying that the delinquency rate of mortgage payment and credit card debt is the highest that it's ever been. This is serious. This is where people are overextended. There's got to be some relief happening very soon, and it doesn't look like that in the short term. Hence why people are looking for an election and are looking for a change, John.
So the State of the Union was that last week on Thursday. President Biden hoping to tackle Bidenomics, and we've seen that it's gotten a little better, but it's still not great. How much of a ripple effect is that going to have on Canada and the issues that the Canadians are dealing with?
Canadians, 70% of Canadians think Canada is broken. 59% are not happy. And the number that alarms anybody who's in power is 27% of Canadians are very angry. They want to change. I mean, we have many of the similar issues both in Canada that are happening in the United States. The rising cost of everything. The cost of everything, particularly in food, has gone up like 15%. It's estimated to go up by another 4.5% this year. 20% is the rate that goods have gone up over the past 2 years. Then here in Canada, a unique aspect is healthcare. We have 500,000 people here in Toronto that don't have a family doctor. But an affordable place to live, which you refer to in your open, is something of great seriousness. Rental properties are going up. Mortgage rates are up. And with interest rates being up, people are feeling the squeeze. And finally, John, Canada has seen a rise in crime, 20%. Now, it's not the same levels that you're seeing in some of your inner cities in the States, but there's more and more robberies that are happening in commercial businesses. And John, you know what they're stealing? Those point-of-sale terminals. You know, those small little ATMs? The electorate is anxious, and it is those small issues that are going to determine elections. When you talk about financial anxiety, John, it's time for change.
Real quickly, we're running out of time, but Pierre Poilievre also wants to get rid of the carbon tax. What is this going to make an impact for Canadians?
Well, the carbon tax affects many farmers. Different types of fertilizer. It's a tax on top of gas. There's one province that said they're not going to do it. Two others says they're not going to do it. Trudeau's ill-fated attempt to try and get more money and do this Green New Deal is doing him more harm than good. The last thing we need, and you guys in the States would need, is more taxes, John.
Exactly right. A lot of my friends still in Canada, they argue and complain about the carbon tax all the time. So I definitely have heard that, and they're not happy about it. Thank you so much, Michael Charbonne. We'll see you next week.
Take care, bud.
All right, that's going to do it here for Sunday Report. Thank you so much for watching. Stay with us. Sunday Agenda starts right now with Lydia Serrani.